Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and it seems even the modders want to provide the Dwarfs with a bunch of new goodies. It's not just CA, but we've got a brand new mod by FireX known as Runic Units, which introduces the Rune Guardians, Rune Golems, and also some Regiments of Renown versions, which are very much like Slayers, as you can see. Now, these units do actually exist in lore. They were never proper units on the tabletop. They were hinted to be something in 8th edition, but then that never happened, unfortunately. But artwork does exist, and we do know a little bit about them, so they've been implemented into the game. So these units are available in custom battles and campaign. It's going to be a while until you get them, because you're going to have to go up through the engineering trees and the smithing trees. With the Rune Golems having a camp there, kind of makes sense. At the end of the day, they're very, very strong. The little that we do know about them in lore is that they're supposed to be incredibly powerful. You know, golems brought to life by runic magic. This is something that is, again, a massive shame that we haven't seen in Warhammer Fantasy, but we might be able to see in Warhammer the Old World, knock on wood, a few years down the line. Who knows, right? But they are very, very good at what they do. Because the Rune Guardians are quite titanic, as you can imagine. They're supposed to be very, very durable. They do come in larger groups, by the way. In this purpose for this clip, I am showing them in small unit size. But in Ultra, they're in a maximum of 16. Now, it is important to note that these guys will be considered constructs. So if their leadership does go down, they will start to take damage, which I think is pretty fair considering the amount of damage that you're going to be getting out from these guys. They're siege attackers too, which is going to allow you just to start attacking early on. You do have access to fear, very, very high spell resistance, like 50%, encourage, and the legacy of Frungi, which is going to allow you to buff up your troops and, yeah, you know, physical resistance, missile resistance, melee defense. You get these as you start taking damage. The main thing is that they look absolutely amazing, let's be honest. They're some of the most stylized stuff that we've seen in a while. Again, it's very hard to create these as a mod, I imagine, because very little artwork does exist of them. It's mostly just black and white paper. And I think in the rulebook there was a small, like, illustration, but, like, absolutely tiny. When you see them in ultra unit sizes, they are much more impressive. You've got them there in groups of 16 and they're able to just really decimate. I've got them fighting some orc boys because they're very good at killing off infantry. Plus, it's just nice to see a bunch of constructs thrashing about and doing shit tons of damage. They're super, super cool. The animations work very, very well. You got some thrashing about and so on. It's not too fast. Remember that these are still very slow entities because they're still based on dwarven tech, so they're not supposed to be moving around like, you know, speeding across the battlefield and so on. If you're moving a small dwarf force, these guys are going to be around the same speed. But the very moment they get into combat, well, that's where things start to change. And then we've got the Rune Guardian, which is a single entity monster, a very big boy, as you can tell. Very massive stats. I mean, 200 armor and so on. It's also a construct, so it will take some damage if its leadership starts going down. It's got terror, siege attacker, a very high spell resistance, wall breaker too. There is just so much. Expert charge defense. These boys are there to really hurt. Very good at fighting other monsters too. You've got a protective bonus that you can get towards your allies, which is missile resistance, missile block chance, and ballistic plating. And also you've got a formation, which is a shield. Essentially, it's there just to increase your mass, reducing your speed, but making a lot more durable to fight against, you know, anything that you're going to have to deal with, like a Dreadsaurian or a Bloodthirster. Again, slow monster. It's not really the fastest thing, but it's cool. The fact that it moves, it just, man, I like it. I really like it. I think it's just, it really is what people have been wanting for. Obviously, it's something that people wanted for Thrones of Decay, but the problem is, it's something that I really think Games Workshop are either trying to avoid, or we might see with the Caradron Overlords, or whatever they're called. These are the Age of Sigmar dwarfs, which are very steampunky. They focus very heavily on this type of stuff. Because remember that Games Workshop doesn't like things crossing the IP too much, which is a disappointing thing, but yeah. Either way, we've still got it here because it does fit into the lore. It's something that was established in 8th edition, so it remains here. Damage-wise, it's very, very good at killing off hordes, and it's pretty decent at fighting big monsters. There'll be a little bit of a showcase of that as soon as we get into the battle. Both of them look phenomenal. They fit incredibly well with your dwarf armies. If you're just looking for a little bit of extra flavor, yes, I know the dwarfs have gotten a lot of attention from Creative Assembly, but a little bit more doesn't hurt, right? This is the great thing about modding. It allows you to add in more and more and more. It's something that I've been thinking about the Dwarfs a lot lately because, again, I'm one of those people who are kind of hoping for the constructs, even though it didn't really fit with Malachi McCason. So, what we're going to do here is I'm going to have a little bit of a battle, and I'm going to be using some Golems, I'm going to be using the Guardians too. So I wouldn't say that these are doom stacking monster type units, because at the end of the day, you know, they're very slow, they're melee focused. I mean, you could probably do so, but you want to pair them up nicely with the rest of your Dwarf armies. This is for you types of players who saw that old artwork in the 8th edition rulebook, you know, in the same area as the Thunder Barge rules, and saw that massive Golem in the background and went, yeah, you know, it would support my stuff. It's the same thing. It's there to buff up your troops, also provide some very heavy hitting melee. The mod itself came out a few days ago, so I've been playing around with it, and yeah, it's just an extra supplement. I feel like it's added very well with all the Dwarf stuff in 5.2. You basically have a complete Dwarf experience now, and adding mods like this gives it the little bit of flavor that people have been waiting for, just to have a little bit more for them. My only complaint is I would have hoped for the Golem to have some sort of steam attack, but maybe that just seems a bit unrealistic. Again, we know next to nothing about these units, so that's a thing that some people have interpretations that others don't. But yeah, damage-wise, I mean, the Guardians, great at demolishing. So much so that I was focusing more on the Guardians and the Golem than I was on the other units, which is why the the Boar Boys come across and just attack me from behind. This is a randomly generated Greenskin army, by the way, and a semi-randomly generated Dwarf army, as going random didn't really introduce any Golems or Guardians. The Golem is super good at just holding down big monsters, so the Orc Giant there was just pretty much just out of the game for most of the cases, and when they were coming in, I was just shooting at everything else. Both units played exactly how I expected them to play from my own imagination, and then obviously there has been some supplements, unofficial supplements for Warhammer Fantasy, which kind of introduced them. I believe Warhammer Armies Project and a few others did something very similar. So yeah, very happy with this. The mod itself can be found in the description below. Check it out if you want a little bit more of a Dwarf experience. I'm not sure, by the way, if it's compatible. I very much doubt if it's compatible with your current campaign if you're already running one. So you might have to start a completely new campaign, or you can just have this saved for later down the line. With that being said, let me know what you guys think about the mod in the comments below. Let's start a bit of discussion. There's going to be a lot more videos coming out. I have taken a little bit of a break last week. I'll be honest with you, I've just been playing a lot of WoW, and yeah, the new expansion is really freaking good, so I'm surprised, and it's kind of made me want to play more. But yeah, I'll let the rest of the battle play out. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Oh, and I almost forgot, by the way, because by the time we're recording this video, Games Workshop have just confirmed that there's going to be a roadmap for Warhammer the Old World this week. Woo! Anyways, see ya.
Will do! Vengeance